Reload. Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
I hope everyone else is ready because it's Sunday night. This is At Week's End, and it's a special episode. The Thunderbolts released this weekend. We're going to be diving into that with a special guest panel and spoiling the whole movie. I hope you had a chance to see it. If not, oh well.
There's no mercy, Mark.
It's a spoiler show. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Not like we didn't warn you.
Yeah, that was your warning right there. I hope you didn't come in late. Also, happy May 4th. That's a thing. May the 4th be with you. If you don't, you're supposed to say that. And
yes, and tomorrow is Revenge of the 5th.
We'll be revenging the hell out of the 5th tomorrow. Only a 5th deals in absolutes. But join tonight. It's movie night, so of course you know he's here. My main man with pots and pans, DJ Lynx, is in the building.
What's up, dog? Are we spoiling Thunderbolts or the new Avengers? Oh shit! Right out the gate, dog. Take that, Taylor Winder.
Well, we can't have lame jokes without our homie from the Unchosen One here to make him with us.
There you go.
What's up?
I heard there's already a billboard in New York City that has asterisk New Avengers.
No, it has the whole thing ripped off, like the Thunderbolts thing ripped off, and it says New Avengers.
You're just spoiling it, just right out the gate in New York.
On billboards. Yeah.
So you can't even fuss at me about spoiling stuff. Then, if it's just that's the culture now.
The whole city is spoiling it. We're
just the culture.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not a joke. That's real.
That's pretty wild. But real quick, it's a Guess That Key Week, right?
It is.
So go ahead and make that announcement at the front end of the show. I want to make sure that gets out here.
Okay, we got Guess That Key coming up this Wednesday at 9:00. This week we have Burke Family 54 Comics and TM Nerdy is joining us. And spoiler alert, in 2 weeks we'll have this gentleman right down there will be joining us.
Hey, you're coming back.
Yeah.
Back. We've been invited back. We promise no more pedophile jokes. We will not. No more of those. We learned our lesson.
That's right. Dave won't be with us, but because he'll be out getting free comic books.
Right. It's his favorite thing. He likes to go fashionably late. He likes to get them like, it's called stealing at that point, I believe.
Yeah.
He doesn't want what he wants. He wants what he can get. Jesus. So, I appreciate y'all being here. Hello to the people in the chat. It is the first Sunday of the month. That means we're going to be drawing for the Legion loot tonight. So, big shout out to all the channel members, especially the ones in the Legion tier. I got your name on the list. I checked the list before the show, so I got everyone who's in there on there. What's up, Pops, Gary B, Adventurous One, Joseph Michaels. We are the Thunderbolts. # We Are Legion. 22 months strong as a Legionnaire. Brian LCS just hung out with him. He drove into town for free comic book day. It was a blast. Cool of y'all if you spoiled Thunderbolts on opening weekend. Jerkwads. Team Games and Comics, what is going on? Hello. Phil Allen, how's it going? All right, so so for those that don't know, Legion loot. I do it once a month for the channel members, and the Legion tier name goes on a Willits appreciation pack. There's a one lucky winner, and this is what's being given away tonight. We have Tyler Kirkham, Star Wars Adventures, Tyler Kirkham, Spider-Boy #1, some Linsner Herculoids. It's kind of like an artist spotlight this month. Mark Spears, Vampirella.
Nice.
Gabriel Delato, Death Metal with, or Dark Crisis with Dark Side. Gabriel Delato, all new Venom signed by Gabriel Delato at MegaCon. I think this guy was there. Yeah, nice.
Thanks, Bart.
And what inspired me to do the artist spotlight was it was April, and I was thinking April Fools, and I thought it'd be great because everyone loves these Frank Miller covers.
Everyone
loves them.
Everybody loves.
It's universal.
So for months, I've been hyping these things up as they came out, arguing with people, talking about how they're awesome and everything, all just to get to this night tonight. So all of these books, and people tend to forget Frank freaking Miller is a legend for a reason. So because we're also giving away the entire Dark Knight Returns set, 1 through 4. Frank freaking Miller. You take the good with the bad, because when he's great, he's great. And a 9.4 signed Thor #1, the preview edition, in the style that he did for Sin City. I didn't even know this existed until I worked to put this together, but that thing is freaking awesome. Signed by Frank Miller. And then a collection came through ABX like a week ago with the actual book.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, so you actually get an ungraded copy to to actually be able to read. How do I read it? It's in plastic. You read this copy. This copy. In case anyone wondered. So all that's being given away some point in tonight's show. So I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you again to the channel members, and consider joining the channel membership, because next month is going to be a banger too. And then after that, Superman movie themed. What is this, May? Yeah, I'm doing the June 1 theme for the Superman movie. We'll give it away the first Sunday in July before the movie, just in case it sucks. Yeah, hedging all bets. We gotta get an exciting prize into someone's hand. They can enjoy it for a week. But we're not talking about Superman tonight. Tonight we're talking about Thunderbolts, the brand new offering from the MCU. Marvel Cinematic Universe just dropped Thunderbolts, which is one of 3. Is it 3 or 4 feature films that they're dropping this year? 3, right? Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four. Is that it for?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I believe that's it. Yeah.
So we're halfway through the year for the MCU. It started, and then we got Thunderbolts. So we're going to go around the horn. We're going to just throw our ratings out there. We haven't asked each other the ratings yet that we kind of gave it, and then we'll get into it. So if you're in the chat, if you've seen Thunderbolts, go ahead and drop your rating, however you rate it, and we'll go with it. Paul, what do you think?
I'm going to give it a 7 rings out of 10.
7 rings out of 10. Solid. DJ?
I'm going to go 4 bananas out of 5.
4 out of 5 bananas, not bad. Gorillas are really the topic of the internet these days.
I couldn't wait to.
I give 100 people against the gorilla.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jay, what you got?
Like on the elementary school grading scale, I give it like a A-, A in that area. Yeah, 94%,
Holy
3%.
potatoes.
If it was a test,
Yeah,
That's pretty solid.
Although now the kids have it easy; they get 90s or an A now. When I was in high school, you had to get a 94 to get an A.
A 90s
Now
and
you just 90s an A now in high school.
That's great.
Unless there's a scale, in
Right?
which case an 84 could be an A.
I would like to have my GPA retroactively fixed, because
that's
not fair anymore.
About that. Flo Dameron gives it a straight gas. I don't know how to take that. The Adventurous One, Joseph Michaels, gives it a 9 out of 10. Pops an 8 out of 10. Brian LCS, 85 humans out of 100. And I'm going to give it, I might get some kickback for this, but I've thought about it. I've sat on it since Thursday. I'm going to give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Would recommend. And I'll get into the details of that, of where I came up with that after a while. But man, I don't even know where to start with this, other than I would love to start with the practical stunt, because one of the things that this movie did in its marketing was fantastic.
Yes.
The first trailer they did, it was real jokey. It was very cliche for what we expect from the MCU. But trailer 2 and 3, they got the score right. They got like a theme song for the movie that I've been whistling all day walking around the zoo. And they started giving us behind the scenes stuff like you'd expect from Mission Impossible, with this huge practical stunt that Florence Pugh did of a base jump off of a big building. And they were really bragging about like the practical effects and the sets and stuff. So what did y'all think from just the intro with the big stunt? Because that's where the movie started, and they were really pushing that.
For me, I think the big stunt was wasted. I think they made so much of it in the marketing, and then we only got it for literally 2 seconds. So I think that was wasted.
Yeah, I think they saw that the Oscars was making a new category, and they wanted to let people know that that they're doing some cool stuff. Hats off to her.
Yeah, of course.
I seriously don't think I could do that. I hate that it kind of did feel minimized that she jumped off and landed on the same building. I wanted to let her know that that's what zip lines are for. It was still a cool way to start a movie, though, but it wasn't necessarily as dynamic as I would have thought from something. But I'm still really impressed that actress got up there, that her insurance company allowed her to do it, and that she jumped off a freaking building.
Knowing that it was her, it makes it better. If you go in thinking it's just, the regular standard stuntman, special effects kind of thing going on, you're probably but knowing that it was her, you're watching it, you put yourself in that place, then never would do it ever. Never do
exactly. The fact she's just chilling, sitting on that building, and she stands up so casually. Because I was thinking the entire time, from her sitting there to her standing up, I'm looking, your feet are 2 inches from that ledge. You're a real person on a real building, and the wind's blowing, and I can feel it. I'm like, that needs to be done
I
more.
think this is Tom Cruise's fault. Like he's like pressuring, like not literally, but like pressuring them, making these actors take this chances.
The credit, not his fault. The credit goes to Tom.
I thought it was a great effect, but I'm gonna preface everything I say tonight that what I say and how I act may be predicated on the fact that this is one of the first we're basing it against probably all the other crappy movies that have come before.
This is your first positive one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, the one that would have done that stunt while riding a motorcycle. Yeah, while riding a horse.
Yeah. He also would have broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And kept going.
Broke his ankle on that. Yeah, and kept going. Right?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer that had almost every single special effect that he did, or practical effect that he did in the movies? The Mission Impossible trailer that I saw showed him jumping from the building, showed him on an airplane, showed basically practically every single practical effect he's done.
Yeah, I saw a cell phone footage of him jumping from a building to a helicopter and hanging onto a helicopter free-handed while it's spinning around. I'm like, that's crazy.
That wasn't even for a movie. He was just like Tuesday.
He was just going to lunch.
He was late somewhere.
I have a question. This stunt category, if Tom Cruise, let's just say he wins the first ever stunt Oscar, is that like a shame or like a black eye on the Oscars with stuntmen that have been doing this for like 1,000 years and doing way bigger stunts?
I mean, he is a professional stuntman at this point. You have to give him
for over
those. You have to give him those stripes. He is a stuntman.
I was gonna say he's been doing like standard stunt work forever, but the stunts that he's doing now aren't standard stunt work.
No.
Most of the time now they just CG this stuff. He's like, nah, I think I can jump from that plane to that plane. I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Like, I mean, he literally does stunts that stunt men that have worked their whole stunt people that have done this their whole life have never done before. Right, he's like doing new stuff. So he's either at their level or above a lot of the working stunt people.
Yeah. If he doesn't win the first ever stunt one, like it doesnesn't make sense. Like it's all rigged at that point.
Well, they really should have just named it after him and then start giving it away. Right, the Tom Cruise Stunt Award.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But getting right into it, getting back into it. When she got back in the building and we kind of just meet. What does she even go by? White Widow? Do they actually call her that at all in the movie anymore?
Yeah,
like
Yelena.
She's just Yelena.
Oh, Yelena.
Just Yelena, yeah.
Yeah,
she's just badass.
She's just doing these jobs, blasé. She's kind of just dead inside because she's bored from her life. But I did notice when she's doing her little hallway fight, the whole thing was dope. It was like a whole foreshadowing of what's to come with the shadows. I'm like, man, like I'm loving the way this is filmed. And I think it was you, DJ, that mentioned something about like the production crew and the palette of this or something.
Yeah, a lot of the production crew were from A24, people that worked on A24 movies like the Green Knight and Hereditary and a bunch of those like independent movies. That's why it seems really, really grounded. The color palette is amazing. Like I'm a sucker for stuff like that. Like I go in and look at like the technical aspects and things like that. And immediately the color palette and the tone made it seem like it was more grounded and more adult oriented, which was dope. Back to that hallway scene with the foreshadowing, literally foreshadowing. It took me back to when Natasha first got busy in Iron Man 2, when they were going into that thing and she was in the hallway. Just like that. So I really enjoyed that hallway scene. That put a smile on my face.
That was pretty dope. And then we kind of get into then we meet back up with DeFontaine, Vanessa Contessa DeFontaine or whatever. She's the whole premise of this movie, the whole plot, the entire plot is laid out in the next scene, and it pretty much stays hyper focused on the plot and doesn't get lost in the weeds and doesn't get over large. But the whole plot of the movie is just what is it? Vanessa? Is that her first name?
Vanessa,
Valentina.
Yeah.
Valentina, yeah.
Yeah, she's under
Elaine.
the magnifying glass.
Let's call her Elaine.
Amanda.
Yeah, she's under the magnifying glass of the government for the way that she operates and the off the book stuff that she's doing. She's getting grilled by them and keeping a straight face. And then we get out of there, and the whole movie is about her cleaning her track so the government can't impeach her from her position. And that's what the entire movie is about at that point. And plot wise, I thought it was right sized. I don't know where y'all land on that. That was something that really worked for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't try to be more than it was, if that makes any sense. It was basically, we had talked about a little bit before, like the whole thing with Taskmaster didn't last very long, had one line, in another movie by another people. If it was trying to be more than it was, or if it was not being true to what the group was, she would have saved everybody at the end and sacrificed herself, and it was like for the good of the group. And it's like, that's not who this group was. This group agrees to be together, but seems like they really don't, for the most part, really like each other, except for the Red Guardian. He seems to like everybody.
Likes everybody.
Yeah.
old Santa, which he played
Exactly.
Santa in Violent Night, which was perfect.
Yeah.
What a great line. And to your Taskmaster point,
that's right.
she had one line of dialogue, and it was, "I'm not here for you," which was perfect because everyone in the audience felt that way about Taskmaster.
Right.
which was flawless.
And they knew she wasn't getting a director's chair.
No, that was we talked about that the day of the director, the Avengers Doomsday chair announcements. I said that's kind of, I think Marvel was wanting to, like, they're kind of battling press with Superman right now, going tit for tat, trying to do announcements, trailers, whatever. And when they did those chairs, they spoiled that Taskmaster died, and they spoiled that the Fantastic Four are not staying in that 1960s era Earth. They're coming to everyone else. They spoiled those two things with those chairs. And I said that the day that they dropped that, and sure enough, Thunderbolts alone confirmed both of those chair spoilers.
Right.
What'd you think?
If there was a chair that said Taskmaster, wouldn't everyone have been like, "What? Taskmaster?"
Well, not Taskmaster.
You're talking about
Olga
Taskmaster.
Kurylenko.
Yeah, right. I know, but like, what? It's Taskmaster. Taskmaster's a practice villain anyway. You battle Taskmaster to get to somebody else. Look, who cares about Taskmaster?
Well, Ghost made it.
I care about Taskmaster.
Okay.
Ghost made the cut.
Ghost was pretty cool in that movie, though.
Red Guardian made the cut, but these were all announcements before we got Thunderbolts. Like the fact that they've made somebody out of Red Guardian, and they didn't make anybody out of Ghost. Ghost was there. Ghost made it through, but they didn't. But all right,
I love Taskmaster.
This is one thing that I think really worked for me for this movie, but it's one reason why it's a 6.5 movie. I saw someone make a comment. I've said it before. I think sometimes people just repeat wordage that they heard when they're reviewing a movie. Because I saw someone say, "I love this movie, great character development, great." I'm like, stop. What was so cool about this movie was there was zero character development for any of the characters.
Yeah.
For Valentina, for literally all of them. Where they started the movie is where they ended the movie. They're just unfortunately with each other, and that's what kind of made it cool. Like that was what was unique about this. These characters don't need to be developed. We know they're B-rated characters. They're Wish.com Captain America. They're D-list villain Ghost. We know what they are. They are who they are. Now watch them work together. And I thought that was something that we don't normally see a lot and stuff, and I thought that actually worked in this case, but we didn't really have like this story of like growth, and you didn't have like Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. None of that. It was just, here it is.
I mean,
here they are.
That's what I really liked about it, that the story was extremely lean. There wasn't a lot of fat on it, and that's what made it enjoyable for me. And it wasn't bloated like some of the other movies that you wish like 20, 30 minutes could be shaved off.
Mark never mentions that 20 or 30 minutes could be shaved off.
No, never. I don't care how bad the movie is. Make it longer. Whacking Taskmaster was part of the Disney reset. Yeah.
Am I the only one in the Taskmaster fan club?
How many Taskmaster books do you have?
I got Taskmaster's first appearance.
Yeah,
I have one.
What, is that it? Is that the one, right?
Everyone just has one. Everyone just has one.
Every single
The only one that's worth anything.
every single Taskmaster appearance, including his standalone.
Yeah,
His first standalone. I don't even know. I'm confused. Including the standalone.
The fight scenes with Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie were insanely awesome, because that was when they were like hyper focused on the details of like you can tell like, oh, that's Bucky's move right there. Yep. Like when he does the knife drop, and I say he because it was a man in the suit doing all the stunt work, which was kind of offensive to the ladies out there when you take the helmet off and it's Olga Kurylenko, who's a professional stunt woman, by the way, and you don't let her do the stunt work. That's crazy work.
I didn't know that, but now that's why the head was so small and the body was so bulky.
Yeah, they had I'm with Marcus. Like I was fine with it, but that's kind of like lame. I think they're trying to make it a reveal that it was a woman. Like you should have just sold it as a woman. Like you attached it to the Red Room and everything. And would have worked. But
it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah,
I'm the only person that loved it.
Yeah, where are y'all?
I like Black Widow was a good movie. I like
my
Black
wife
Widow.
loves it. Like she loves it. I thought it was.
It's on. They run it a lot too on like TBS, TNT, or whatever. They run it a lot
on Lifetime.
Yeah, still scrolling cable. I'm keeping it alive.
Yeah. Yeah. But what y'all think of the cast?
It's bundled with his internet.
For y'all? Who are some of the standouts or standout moments out of this ragtag team?
Ragtag.
Hey, dude,
I thought
stealing that wordage.
I'm a hodgepodge team fan from comics to movies. When they shouldn't be together and shouldn't work together, put them together and let them go. It works almost every time.
Can I just say how much did Sentry look like his father? Pullman?
Pullman,
just like him.
Well, I like the two Nepo babies arguing with each other. That was funny.
I like how Wyatt Russell was in an interview and someone
it was great.
They tried to call him out, like take a jab. It's easier.
Awesome response.
He's like, yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. Thank God.
It's 1,000% easier, he said, which is got to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean they're not talented. They're both very talented actors.
Yeah, did you watch Monarch: Legacy of Monsters with Wyatt and his dad in the same show playing the same character?
I got to see that.
Chef's kiss. Dude.
It was good. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, who was the standout for you there, Jay? What was some of the?
Red Guardian. I thought was going to be this scene and movie stealer, which he was. When I was very happy about that because I thought all his jokes were hilarious. And he was more than just Yelena's. He was kind of like the group's dad in that way. He was like kind of the father figure, keeping the family. He's like he's got a family that he regrets not being able to keep his other family together. And now he wants a second chance, you know? And I thought going in, this was going to be, the anti-heroes with the heart of gold, redemption story type thing, which I was, definitely, in for. I thought that's what we were going to get. But then it was really more like the best PSA ever for depression, wrapped in a superhero movie. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible the way they did that, the way the analogies they used, like, especially when Bob is punching himself and the shadow is coming over. That hit hard. Like if you guys have ever dealt with that, or anyone out there has ever dealt with that scene right there hit extremely hard when it was almost over his face. He just keeps hitting it. That was deep, man. Very deep. Oh, sorry, I brought the show down.
No, I was multitasking.
Killed the show.
Well, that was a lot of the theme of the movie. Makes sense.
No, but it's true. That was I was looking at it, and I mean, obviously, I was looking at it. It was in the movies. I was watching it. I was just like, I can't believe they're really going this way. This like artistic interpretation of the subject matter, as opposed to just like big bad, blow up, let's punch him and stuff like that.
Yeah, the big bad was depression. That was the big bad. Yeah. Something very hard to fight that.
I thought it was, Yeah, and from that, I don't know, it was very like intellectually approached, which I appreciated, which kind of like people shit on Eternals. I like Eternals for the same reason, that it was different. And it got into just heavy subject matter.
Eternals is one of those movies, if you watch it over and over again, you start to gain more appreciation for it.
It's the best looking MCU movie that's been made, hands down.
Beautiful looking movie. Yes.
I think they got cold feet at a point in it and kind of pulled back on the reins, because it looks like they were going like, let's do a legit epic. Like it could have been an epic.
And somebody was just like, sprinkle in some jokes. We need 40% more jokes.
I'll die on the hill that if they take it, recut it, and re-edit it, and put it just in chronological order, it'll play 1,000 times better. Just go through the ages from inception to modern day, instead of flashing back to a different point in the past every time they want to introduce a new Eternal. I think that
could have been a great series too. Could have been a great series, maybe better than a movie, because so many characters they could have really introduced and go throughout all the time span. It would have been a great 7-8 episode series.
Pop says a moment for him was when the Golden Guardian came down those stairs in full costume. Pow! I'm sorry, did you say pow? But for me, Red Guardian was definitely the standout. I went into it assuming like it would be Bucky, because I like Bucky. I like Sebastian Stan. And a couple thing that I noticed, I wasn't laughing at the jokes. I'm so far past MCU jokes at this point. Same. And even if they're funny, like I'm kind of like, I'll admit it, I'm bitter. I'm jaded toward the MCU, but I still I pay money. I go. I post about going. Like I put it out there. They get my support, good, bad, or ugly. Except Thor 4, that movie can go to hell. But it takes me a little while. You know what I mean? But that moment when Red Guardian and Bucky were in the front seat of the moving truck. Asking like, so what kind of serums you get? I got the Soviet version. I got the Hydra. And he goes, if you get tired, I can drive for you. I don't get tired. Me neither. I don't get tired. I broke. That was the point. I started chuckling like, yeah, there we go. Here we go. And another big.
They had a little of that in the What If as well. There was a What If episode with the two of them.
Yeah,
partnering up.
The other big moment for me was when Bucky took them all down and he had them tied up in the old oil change building, and when they finally get through the whole Bob back and forth thing, which was legit funny. Like the Bob thing was handled. His name is Bob. You know?
Yeah.
But when they actually started talking and he's like, y'all are coming with me. And he started telling them why, it was like a freaking light bulb going off in my head. I'm like, here it is. Here's the organic, natural moment when the true successor to Steve Rogers is standing in front of you. All of these characters aren't looking up to Bucky, but they're listening up to Bucky. They're all fully capable, fully functioning people, but they were happy to have somebody giving them some stern talk. He just felt like a leader at that point, despite not even being the leader of the team. It was Yelena.
They were literally looking up to Bucky.
Yeah, they were.
They were all sitting down like that on the floor. And all that stuff is done with purpose. That's not just, hey, let's just have him sit on the floor for whatever. They were literally looking up to Bucky at that point.
Yeah, but he didn't have a massive role like these smaller characters that are definitely B-rate characters to Bucky, who's been here a lot longer, definitely didn't get overshadowed by him. And I thought that was a pretty smart choice.
Yeah, and I mean he fought the Sentry for a little while, and then he took out the armored cars or whatever. But other than that, it was he lost his arm more than he did anything. It seemed like.
Yeah. Now the dishwasher thing, I thought that was ridiculously unnecessary. Like,
right.
How else are you gonna clean it?
It
seems it does everything.
I assumed it's from Wakanda, so it doesn't get dirty. It's just higher tech than dirt can adhere.
Surface dirt.
That's true.
A little dusty. Just
for me, I was afraid of the Red Guardian stuff because the first trailer, I hated the first trailer, but he was good. Like I really enjoyed him. But for me, the standout was Yelena. Like I thought she did really well. I wasn't like a real big fan of her in Black Widow or the Hawkeye show, but here, I don't know. I fell in love with her right away.
Now there's a couple of things. The internet's had its time to shine with this movie already.
Shout out to the
internet. A couple of days. So a couple of the things that I noticed that are going around that I want everyone to weigh in on. I saw a few people posting already. There's always comparisons. People compare things. Sentry being introduced. Sentry's he's a big deal character. Like he's a powerhouse character, and he's got some built-in issues with the Void and all that stuff. But I know y'all have seen them. People posting and debating who's going to win, Sentry or Superman. And I'll tell you, we walked out of the theater, and there's a Superman poster. And Pops goes, oh, man, think he'd have a tough time with Sentry? I said, hell no. Hell no. For one, he's way more powerful than him. And if he goes into the Void, what's he going to do? Like, he's like the most mentally stable character that's ever existed. He'll be fine. But that's my take. I don't think Sentry can touch Superman.
Nobody can beat Superman. This is a stupid conversation. Let's move on.
You know what? Just for the sake of argument, I'm taking Sentry.
But then Pops goes, I don't know. He's ridiculously strong. I'm saying, well, what's his powers? He's like, he's got the power of 1,000, and he stopped. I said, finish that sentence. He said, the power of 1,000 exploding stars. I said, enough said. So by the time Sentry goes to fight him, Superman's going to have like a rock hard on and just be like all into the fight, just juiced up, redlining. Like, yeah,
I got a bad image in my head now.
It is.
I want to see that movie now.
Sentry could probably beat 100 people.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but
AI people, get on that. Send me a clip.
I thought it was wild. I've seen numerous people posting it. And the first one I saw, it was the guy that was hosting the BTC Whatnot, Eris. It was Eris Quinones.
Eris Quinones, yeah.
Yeah, he posted one thinking like he couldn't even touch him. And the comment section was ripping him apart, which I thought was very appropriate. But
yeah, I could totally see somebody, if they don't know Superman or don't read Superman, just based off that movie, would say Sentry. I could see
or have never seen the Snyder Cut. Because the scene, in all sincerity, the scene with Sentry coming down and facing this team of not gods and fighting them, and these not gods, just these slightly stronger people fighting this superhuman Sentry was very reminiscent of Kal-El waking up and fighting actual gods.
Yeah.
Super speedsters that he just looks at. Has the freaking King of Atlantis cyborg and just pushing on him, not even budging. It takes a literal demigod pulling with all of her strength in her arms and legs to make him even flinch. And you're telling, you know what I mean? Like that scene was very reminiscent.
Yeah, a bit Sentry was holding back. He could have killed them all in an instant.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. So could have Superman if he fought, not just stood there and let them just attack. He did headbutt Wonder Woman. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and she took it.
She did, like a champ.
So Sentry comes back and remembers everything and has his powers again in Doomsday. Is that what we're saying?
I don't know. And that's another thing. This is another big kind of. All right, so the bad guy of the movie is DeFontaine, but the protagonist for the team is definitely Sentry. But there's zero resolution, nor is there zero explanation of the void at all. Most people that are going to be on here are familiar with Sentry from the comics. But if you went into this movie and you're introduced to Sentry, you have no idea at all what the hell the void is, because he gets his little kill switch hit, and then all of a sudden he just fades to black and starts turning people into shadows and turning the city dark, and you have no clue why, how, or what's happening, nor do you get any resolution. They just hug him. They all hug him, and he's back with no recollection of it, and that's it.
Yeah, and at the end, he's making dinner for everybody instead, or something.
Yeah, that's Marvel's version of Martha. It's a hug.
Yeah, well, they did it with Captain America 4. They did it with this. We're gonna hug about it. But in all sincerity, there was no anything with Void. It was just, we're doing it now. We're not doing it now. That was it.
I mean,
you mean like how Void comes in and out is what you're
yeah, because again, going cold, you have to put yourself in the seat of somebody who not familiar with the comic. You just go in and this is your first experience with the character Sentry at all. They kill switch him and he just turns into a shadow. He's floating over the city, turning other people into shadows, and then he's covering the whole city in a shadow. And then when everyone hugs him on the inside the Void, he's just back to normal, no recollection. And that's 100% of the Void's explanation in the movie. There is no explanation, no resolution.
Well, I think they gave a little foreshadowing with that when he was touching people and they were going into some of their worst memories.
Right.
So you knew there was something going on there, and and so then I think, and they mentioned, Yelena talks about the Void, foreshadowing that just for depression, and then when that does happen to him, I think it was my wife went in, she had no idea what Sentry was, my kid either. No idea what Sentry was.
Do they
But
now?
both of them, well, now they understand. They understood the Void part was just the darkness of him taking over and creating a new personality. So that I think they came out of it understanding completely what was happening with the character.
Yeah, and I think that's kudos to Marvel in this case for them not to spoon feed. Especially when it comes to the Void.
It didn't have to be, right?
Yeah, you have to kind of figure that out and realize that the Void is just representing depression and mental illness.
Yeah, it's representing it, but it's an actual thing in the context of the movie itself, though. What I'm hoping for, and I'm not going to put very much stock in the MCU to pull this off, but they had the whole we're going to hug him now, so everything's better now, and he has no recollection of it, and they go to walk, and Yelena's like, you're coming with us. You're staying with us now. That's how, they clearly know that they didn't solve a problem. The problem's still there. So you're staying with us. So maybe that can be a bigger issue that has to be resolved later. In the comics, all the heroes eventually had
I think he's definitely going to be like the Calvary in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. He gets called in and has to be Sentry for something that they can't handle. Kind of like what the Captain Marvel happened in Endgame.
Yeah. So I'm fully aware of what the Void represents. I'm just saying there was no not even one that you can find the clues to. You just see it. They're just look at this.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. Y'all can debate it. It represents his inner darkness, his depression. Yeah, of course. But we're just
they also mentioned
this is all just part of the procedure he went through. It gave him human shield technology, a human shield around him, telekinesis. He can turn into a shadow and turn people into shadows. These are all just superhuman abilities that this procedure gave him then.
Well, like I think, was it Yelena or somebody that said you give that serum to Steve Rogers, he turns into Captain America.
Right.
You give it to this, a crazy person, and who knows what you get. So it seems that serum enhances whatever's going on inside that person. And Bob was a deeply depressed individual, clinical depression.
I forgot about that line.
So it took that darkness that was already in. He was already highly, clinically depressed. So it enhanced that 1,000-fold and turned him into this.
Don't forget the meth.
Shout out to the meth. The same thing with Red Skull in the first Avenger. Like it enhanced his complexion.
Right. Yeah, that's what was that doctor's name? It was Stanley Tucci that played him, but he was the one that made that.
He's the only one that made the real deal that didn't like all these crazy side effects. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it was important to find the right candidate. It didn't matter how big or how small he was.
Right. Didn't matter the physical. Right.
Internal characteristics here. Then everyone else is just out willy-nilly passing it around. So I guess whatever they gave Sentry was very close to the original serum, where like Red Guardians isn't. Bucky's the Hydra one. So
fancy.
Yeah, fancy.
Because this dude's was also Bob's was U.S. version of the serum, right?
Guess so. Yeah.
Vanessa version.
Yeah. The Ox version.
Yeah, Ox. That was the name of the little thing.
Right.
So none of y'all any standout moments for Ghost? Gotta ask. The costume upgrade, I don't think was an upgrade. I like the costume from Ant-Man 2 because it was very reminiscent of the comics for 1 and for 2. It's just called Ghost, and it was like, oh, I thought it looked cool, but the helmet was weird.
Nah, I couldn't stand her. And Ant-Man 2 for me is top 3 bottom Marvel movies. Ant-Man 2. Zero standout moments for Ghost. Like she was cool. She was there, but it was nothing to write home about for me.
What about everyone's second favorite super soldier? U.S. Agent. This is his real comeback from shame, really. Like
my shield looks like a taco.
The end credit scene when someone had drew him on the magazine cover writing.
Oh, that was great. That whole end credit thing where they they get ahead of the game and get all the trolls comments and put them out there for everyone to see. So now if you say any of those things, now you're just copying what Marvel already did.
Yeah, I thought that was another great example of how we don't need character development for everyone. He was kind of a jerk. The serum kind of like enhanced those features with him, I guess, back in the TV show. Like we find out he's not a good dad or husband, and they revealed that like his wife and kid are even gone. But there was no resolution with that. He's still just that same jerk at the end, and he's riding his own high horse. But I thought he was pretty tough. I like that little touch of delusional that he had in this, because I don't think he definitely had it before. He's full of himself, but I don't think they really hit it with the spotlight before like they did, because it wasn't his show. He was just featured in the TV show, but they were prominent in this, so we really saw that delusion. He's like, no, they're coming to get me. Y'all are expendable. I'm not. Y'all are villains. I'm a decorated this and that. I'm like, this guy's so.
Yeah, I think that was him just like posing. He knows first of all, his family left him, and he had told Yelena and them, hey, I'm just trying to get back to my family. And then when I think it was Bucky that said, that's why your wife had left you with your kid. And he just like looked at Yelena and like put his head down because he's exposed as a poser. Like he's not really that bad of a guy. He's just filled with shame.
I really like I liked his character in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I always felt that what's it, Wyatt, right? His name is Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, Wyatt Russell.
I feel like he did a really good job conveying someone who's really trying to do the best they can, but just is their own worst enemy and just keeps making things bad for them. And they really honestly want to do well and like do the best job they can do. Like he really wants to protect America. Like he's all into all that. Like he wants to be that guy, but he just tries way too hard and gets in his own way time and time again. I like that they're sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Well, the Void got him.
Yeah, I was going somewhere with that, but maybe it'll come back.
What is going on, Kevin? Kevin says he's going to predict that the total box office run for Thunderbolts is 450 to 500 million. I think that's a fair prediction. Now,
What was it this weekend?
It's 76 in domestic.
It's up to 162 million worldwide, and it's on a this is Disney's magic number now. $180 million budget, which is magically the same budget for everything else they made this year.
So let's call it 250.
It did less than Brave New World, but they're predicting it won't have as big of a drop off the second week as.
I think this is going to have a lot better word of mouth. It's going to catch a lot. It's
Word
already
of
done. And I think I can actually see this being a 180 million. It's anybody who just doesn't believe Disney at face value. Like the Captain America 4 was 360 reported months before they even wrapped production. That was reported as it went, as it was inflating in real time for that extended delays, reshoots, the pushback because of the strike, all that stuff. So it wasn't a secret. That 180 they dropped at the end, that was just, there's gaslighting people. That was crazy. But I can see this movie being 180 as like little things. Like we had really 3 primary sets. You had the vault where we spent a lot of time. You had the Avengers Tower, and you had outside on the street of the Avengers Tower. And that's 75% of your movie right there. You know, you have the driving scene here, and we're in the auto shop for a moment, or we're in the court hearing, but those are your big set pieces. So
in Utah, no driving.
Yeah. You don't have to really pull too many permits for that or block off too much stuff. You just have your film crew and the 2 cars, you know, you don't. So it was a really, like you said, slimmed down, and it was very focused production with this, and it felt like it. I think that worked in its favor a lot.
100%.
But the big thing I want to point out is, and I talked about this before, a lot of people were joking, this is the Suicide Squad for the MCU, because I couldn't help, as I'm a Suicide Squad apologist when it comes to that first movie. This was that movie. You had DeFontaine, Waller trying to cover up her Black Ops team of bad guys in their what she's doing, so she sends them in to go clean it up, and that's literally the plot of Suicide Squad. They send him into the Ostrander building even, and it's her sending her team into the vault, and then that one person gets out of hand, and this at Sentry, and that it was Enchantress. They have the kill switch for Sentry. They had Enchantress's heart in the box. It's literally the same movie.
It's a good parallel. Wow.
But what that takes away from it being like more than it is, but it didn't hurt it, because tropes are tropes for a reason. It's because they work, and they did it well. They did it well. I did think the ending was kind of corny with her standing there on the phone, then walking through the through the rubble and the press and everything. But it switched it to like more of an upbeat, going from that hard depression hug fest straight into like a kind of a campy moment. But when Bob started clapping, because he had no clue what was going on, I legit started laughing. That was like my second laugh of the movie.
Yeah, that was funny. And like all the reporters, because immediately I was like, how the fuck did all the reporters get here? But then I forgot all the fighting was it was all in the mind.
Yeah, she called the reporters when she was getting Sentry ready. And then she just redirected them.
No, but if there was like a big battle there and stuff was going on, the reporters obviously wouldn't be able to get close.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a number of MCU films that are now ended in a press conference.
Iron Man.
You know, it's like a whole bunch of them now. They end with a press conference announcement. Yeah.
What'd y'all think of the new Avengers announcement? We figured out what the asterisk was for. Was that lackluster? Was that cool for y'all? Was it revealed while you were watching it, or did that get spoiled for you? I had that spoiled for me.
It got spoiled for me beforehand. Yeah.
No, I was off like social media like all day on Thursday, because I know how people Mark from Legion of Comics are with the spoilers.
You say that, but I don't spoil till Sundays.
That's not true.
It might not be true. It definitely might not be true.
You spoiled my daughter's gender when my wife was pregnant.
Yeah, you're welcome, by the way. That way you can buy the clothes ahead of time. But
that's true.
What'd y'all think of the Avengers, the new Avengers?
I mean, what else were you going to call them?
Right.
I guess that's
Thunderbolts.
I mean, it works. But I like that they changed the reasoning of the Thunderbolts. I thought that worked for the MCU, this universe. You know, everyone knows it's the president, but I look at MCU as its own. Like it's not a copy of the 616 comics. It's its own universe in itself. Just like in the Spider-Verses, the the movies are their own universe, the cartoons are their own universe. So the MCU is like its own thing, and I don't think I think it's okay if you change something that makes it fit the movie better. And her soccer team, that's hilarious.
And where they were very true to the comics in the sense that the Thunderbolts in continuity of the comics have a very convoluted rollout. There's certain characters or teams that over the years are just convoluted. The Thunderbolts are one of them, as they rolled out as this Thunderbolts team, but it was really the Masters of Evil in disguise. And ultimately a team of heroes did come together and call themselves a Thunderbolt. So it was, even in the comics, it wasn't just a straightforward, we're the Avengers, we're the Thunderbolts. So that aspect of it definitely works. So here we are in the movie universe with why are they the Thunderbolts? And then months go by, why is there an asterisk? And then, well, are they the new Avengers? Like, so that in that sense, it kind of definitely fits. But I think that it was also accurate to do the new Avengers thing in a sense that we introduced Sentry in this. He wrote out properly in continuity, meeting everyone in the new Avengers Bendis run, which I was reading back when it came out, which was freaking epic. And one thing that I hate that we didn't get in this, and I know it's not an R-rated movie, but Sentry has a signature move, and that's when he grabs somebody and just pulls them apart. That's how they introed this dude. Like, he was just self-imprisoned in Stryker's Island, and when this breakout happens, which was what Volume 1 was called of that series, when Carnage's room opens, it was a massive deal because he comes out just full-on Carnage, just slaughtering people. And that's when Sentry, this mysterious bearded character sitting in a shadow with an open door, not leaving, gets up and just takes off through floors and floors of underground basements and just snatches Carnage, takes him to the sky above everyone, and just pulls him in half down the middle, drops him, and just disappears for a while. You're like, who the fuck was that? That was amazing. Shit. And then you get like they introduced the MCU or the Marvel Ares down the road, and Ares was a Banff character, like powerhouse, like Thor. And then ultimately Sentry did the same thing to him, and that's why in King in Black, to kind of take Null and show you just how powerful Null is, they sent Sentry after him in issue 1 and let Null do Sentry's own signature move to Sentry, killing him. But we need that moment for Bob in the MCU. Just
I think they didn't want to like
Taskmaster.
I don't think they wanted to make Bob a monster to the audience, like right off the bat.
Yeah, no coming back from that.
But they had a way to do that without kind of being like R-rated, because if he would have done it while he was in like his shadow form and everything was in shadow form and you just do it,
it would have been black. You don't need to show up coming out and everything. Right?
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yo, the coolest moment for me of the movie was when Bucky showed up in the chase in Utah, and when you just see the disc like go up on the thing.
Winter Soldier.
Yo, just seeing the disc, and then you see him with the gun, like from Winter Soldier. Yo, I spilled my popcorn, my unbuttered popcorn.
That was pretty dope. The after scene, we had 2 after scene credits. The first one's them just kind of in a just Red Guardian in a grocery store.
That was fun.
We get the Wheaties box scene. He's all cleaned up. He's got a nice handlebar mustache, and he's encouraging a shopper to check out the Wheaties right here. They're going down the nutritional facts of why she's holding the box next to his head awkwardly, and it was funny.
Yeah, she took it and then she walked away and put it down.
But the big after scene credit was them all in their newfound base of operation, which is the old Avengers Tower, as the new Avengers, and revealing that Sam Wilson isn't happy with them calling themselves the new Avengers, and Red Guardian's already got like a NASCAR suit on, sponsors all over it, and he self-stitched a Z to the end of New Avengers for copyright purposes, and he's bought suits for everybody, and Bob's there, and there's some really funny dialogue talking, and they get an alert that something's happening in space, and they're getting ready to look at it, and Red Guardian talking about if one of us could fly, we could get up there. What are you going to do, ride on Sentry's back? He's like, yes!
That was hilarious.
I pictured it, but they brought the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper, rolling in with the same ship that you see from their trailer and stuff, and they don't show the team, but they show the ship, and it's got the 4 on the side. Do y'all think it's going to be them in there? I mean, obviously it is, right?
I read that the Russo brothers actually directed that scene.
They did.
While on the set of Doomsday.
Yeah. And it's the longest MCU post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Will that be the Fantastic Four? Obviously, I think so. Like, it'll be the Fantastic Four. I just wish they saved that for like the movie and then they did something else. Because it's just like, give us Because now
You're
we know at the end of
spoiling the Fantastic
yeah,
Four.
so now we know at the end of Fantastic Four they're gonna bounce from their universe, or their universe is gonna be devoured by the vagina having Silver Surfer and
no, this was legit. Like when he saved that little girl and she was the first one to go, I'm like, holy shit! And as soon as they came out of the void, like the hug fest, we hugged. Everything's okay now. As soon as they did that, and people started popping up, I looked at Pops and said, they better show that little girl, and they sure enough did. I'm like, there we go. Like,
you know what's funny? Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm not trying to make a joke. When he saved the little girl, I was just like, I bet you Mark says they ripped off this from the Superman trailer.
Oh, I was gonna say Schindler's List. It was the girl with the red dress.
Never seen it.
That was the whole theater audibly gasped when he did that to her.
He just took the hit, dude. He just took the hit. Like, what a boss! It was great because there's one little line of dialogue between Red Guardian and Yelena, like why he does it. He's like, for the glory, for when you walk down the street and you're saving people and they're cheering and you like, and she just think he's being egotistical, but it's a feeling of purpose that he's describing. He just doesn't have the words for it. And they bookended that later in the movie when Yelena is running around the streets saving people and she's seeing it firsthand for herself because she wants that. She wants that sense of purpose. I'm like,
that was where I was going and where I had a senior moment. That whole scene where they start saving people for real, like that. None of them have ever experienced that. Of actually seeing it in effect, how it affects people's lives and things like that. And they all got that like taste of using their powers for purpose instead of just
being an actual hero. It's not about
being an actual hero, right?
It's that
right.
I
thought that scene hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Powder toast. Y'all remember that from Ren and Stimpy? How Powder Toast Man would fly backwards and you have to sit on him and hold his butt cheeks.
Ren and Stimpy, man.
Yeah, so it was.
Ren and Stimpy was disturbing.
It was wild, man. Yeah, my mom would be pissed when me and my brother would watch it, and my dad would be like, "Yeah, it's fine, let's watch it."
Yeah, I'm like, shout out to Pops with the Ren and Stimpy quote.
Oh yeah, no. Is there anything else y'all wanted to hit on it? Like, where does this really stack up in the post Endgame stuff for you guys?
Post Endgame stuff for me, it's definitely up there in top 3. Like, I have to think about what really came out because No Way Home was super enjoyable. For some, like, this is different.
Guardians 3.
Yeah, like Guardians 3. I think for this one with Thunderbolts, it's funny because as an MCU movie, like for me, it has an asterisk next to it because it's just different. It's not your standard superhero fare. It's very, very cerebral, which I super like. I appreciate it. So it's good. It's up there. It's definitely like top 3. Since
I didn't realize it until after I seen. I think it was Friday night, DJ, when we figured out this, or maybe it was Friday morning.
We didn't talk about this ever.
This is the first movie in the next phase 5.
This is the last movie in phase 5.
Last movie?
Yeah,
I still don't understand how they're doing phases anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. But this is,
we don't have Avengers movies to actually bookmark phases. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, we have a new Avengers movie now. But yeah, I learned this on Friday morning.
Oh, yeah. This is an Avengers movie to cap off the phase. There we go.
Spoilers, bro.
Yeah.
Where does
it stack up for you, Jay?
I gotta put it second behind Deadpool and Wolverine. So
I
it's number 2.
That one,
yeah, right behind that.
Wow,
it is extremely different though. Yeah,
I would.
It's like the Severance of MCU movies.
So we can go down a whole rabbit hole with Severance.
Overrated.
Dad, I love that. I love that. DJ's the one person in the world who's just not in love with it. I'll give him credit. He liked the season 2 finale.
Maybe I'm just saying that just in public.
Where does it stack up for you, Paul? Post Endgame.
Probably. I mean, it's not in my top 3. I don't think, because I would have Guardians 3, Deadpool, Wolverine, and I think No Way Home. I really like No Way Home, but it's definitely in my top 5. It's a breath of fresh air from what we've got over the past year and a half. I think for the most part, and so in that way it almost kind of leapfrogs everything else because it's resetting everybody's palate to really enjoy the Marvel movies again.
It's definitely a solid spot number 3 for me with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 being that top spot. I mean, that movie just as quirky and as goofy as it is, like it is just so good. And it like how it caps off the trilogy too, and just it's just so freaking good. Open the fucking door. I think about that scene regularly. And I'm like, dude, wow. I knew there was gonna be an F word in that movie. I'm like, that's so not appropriate. And then they do it. I'm like, that was so appropriate. But then Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely right behind that because I'm a huge 20th century era fan. You know, growing up with all this stuff and all those movies, they weren't subpar when they were coming out. Like they were leveling up the stuff that we had before then. You know, it was literally a step up and an improvement. That was just such a great love letter. And seeing Wolverine go full Wolverine is just
Speaking about that, I think of the word gubernatorial all the time.
That's a good one.
I'm one of the few people that really liked Ant-Man and Quantumania.
I think the only one I have to say like I would say is a bad movie is Thor 4. I think it's the only one that's like a bad
The Marvels is a bad movie.
No,
Madam
it's
Web?
not.
Madam Web?
Well,
that's not MCU. That's not MCU. That's an atrocity. That is an unwatchable film.
I think that I have this thing about splitting it. Like you can watch something and try to like be kind of judge it critically, and then judge it just on your personal enjoyment scale of it. I think that the Marvels is a legit bad movie, but you can have fun watching it depending on what you're going in there for in your headspace and your personal. But I think it's legit a bad movie. Like it's not put together well. It's not structured well. Some of the acting is bad. Like it's not a good movie.
Agreed. And I agree 1000%. Yet I was still smiling.
It's my favorite movie ever. Now it's my favorite movie.
Like and I always take it back to the example. I'm a huge Roger Corman fan. He's like the Rebel of Hollywood, the C-list movie master. None of his movies are good, even by his own standard. But he's one of the biggest successful producers because he makes bad movies. Those sci-fi channel movies from the 2000s that are ripping off every giant monster attack anything, and those are bad movies, but people watch them because they have fun watching bad movies too. And that's fine. You don't have to make Shakespeare to be enjoyable.
There would be no Sharknado if there wasn't a Roger Corman.
Exactly. Sharknado is objectively a bad movie, but it's fun. But yeah, there's not a lot post Endgame that I enjoyed. It's really just those three plus the Spider-Man movie. Man, I was cheering, I was in tears. But I haven't been able to rewatch it. I've seen the scenes that do that, the fan service scenes, so many times clipped that I don't think that's a good movie either. I think it's just fan service done ridiculously well, and that's all it was meant to be. They set out to do their job right. This was
fire, dog.
I do think No Way Home is overrated. Yeah. Overrated. Yeah.
All right, well, real quick, just to let the chat know Jay's credibility, in case you don't watch his show, he also thinks Superman and Lois finale was overrated. So
bad.
What?
Bad. No good. No bueno.
Everyone's about to tell you right now. This is the moment.
Oh, that's one down. 2 to go.
You sold out. You sold out. You sold out.
It just wasn't. It's just not for me. That's not Superman.
He will not be on Yes I Can in 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Nah, he does not want to see Superman die. He said.
Well, it's not just not die, but just when I'm done with the Superman film, comic, whatever, I want to know that he's there for the next generation and the generation after that. I don't want him dying of just human problems. If he's gonna get killed, it's got to be something epically cosmic, or I want him to be around like in what was that one where
Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Not that one. No, I think it was I'm thinking of All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman, where he dies, but he's fixing the sun forever. Mm-hmm. So that's how I want Superman to end, not a freaking heart failure. What kind of garbage is that? Heart failure?
It was beautiful. He
did he have the old man's heart?
Awful.
Yeah, he did.
Awful.
General Lane's heart.
I'm sorry. Superman is about not showing how he can die like a human, but how he can live like a god and have a human soul.
But isn't the thing about Superman is the fact that he is a god, but he's more human than the rest of us?
Yes, exactly. But that's so easy when you're a normal person, just trying to be a normal person. That's easy when you don't have the powers of a god. The powers of a god corrupt. So he has to be that god but stay human
He
with all
still
those
have
powers.
those-
That's what makes it hard.
But he
still
That's
also
what makes
those
it hard to
powers.
do.
the first time he died protecting everyone.
Everyone.
Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you almost got both. You got what you want, and you got what I think worked really well at the end.
How have I never had a dog before?
Yeah.
Me and Crypto took a lot of walks. We took a lot of naps. Like, God, that finale, man, I got goosebumps. Dude, I was wrecked for a
Was
week.
it To Kill a Mockingbird or Superman? What are we
legit.
talking about here?
I was wrecked for an entire week. And
I
what
cried,
worked so good,
I cried
why
like
I
a
think it worked
bitch.
so good, because this isn't All-Star Superman where it's just Superman and Lois. This was something unique where not only do they have Jonathan, they have Jordan, who is only exclusive to this show. That's a completely standalone property. And even though Clark is gone, Superman isn't. There's two gods flying around, not taking over the world now, and his legacy is what keeps everyone else safe. I thought that was.
I thought they did a poor job showing the legacy too. Like what did he got into? He had money for foundations and things like that, and like they didn't really show that like around the world, like how that was helping the world. They could have illustrated that a little more to show his legacy, but they didn't really show like all the things he was going to do and to inspire people.
Well, they showed you the super family, like you know what I mean. It was
but you didn't show the effects on the world.
The name of the show is Superman and Lois, and when we meet him, he's already affected the world. This is him like winding down. This is essentially the whole show from episode 1 is Old Man Superman, right? Like they have grown kids. They're going home as a telling of Superman we hadn't had before. I don't know.
Superman and Lois is the Marvels of DC.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, that's the end of the show, folks. No,
Wow.
All right, did it.
I got to tell you, like, dude, I don't know how many times I legit tried to crawl through my phone listening to y'all talk about this show on the podcast. Like, he needs to be strangled is what needs to happen right now. But no, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I've never been that wrecked from a television show ever.
Really?
Ever. I was so invested.
Melrose Place.
I'm happy that it was Superman and it made people feel that way. That I'm happy for the character that the show was successful.
Yeah,
because he needs it.
Legit. Because we were worried, like all viewers were, I believe. When we finished season 3 and they announced that season 4 is getting the trim down because we're gonna have to cap it off. We're like, well, are you going to actually? Is it going to end at like an ending? Or are we going to pull back on what are we going to do? And they went. We're going to trim it down because we're putting both feet in every episode. Whether it's your jam or not, you can tell we're putting both feet in every episode. And I was impressed with that. Yeah. Good stuff. Highly recommend for everyone to go check it out and make your own judgment. And then go check out the Unchosen Ones podcast. Leave a lot of comments. Tell them why you're wrong.
It's way better than Superman and Lois finale.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We hit the hour mark. I'm going to do this giveaway and then tell everybody what's going on and all that stuff. I guess you can tell everybody what's going on while I get the giveaway up. What you got coming up on the Unchosen One podcast?
Just released a new episode last night talking about Sony and Feige fighting over Spider-Man, using him maybe for Daredevil, but how that's not possible because of all the bullshit you got to go through. And Dave said that Disney should just buy Sony, and why don't they just do that?
I don't think they'd be
why isn't that happening?
I honestly don't think they'd be allowed to at this point, right? Because didn't they have there's like all these
you would have the
antitrust.
And Disney's
they just bought the Fox movie studio, and now they're going to give them Sony as well. Like,
see, it's better for us though. Better for us. That's all we care about.
For the record, like I've said this before, I've done videos on Sony looking at their track record with Spider-Man property, which is damn near flawless, save for a couple of recent films. But they're never giving up Spider-Man. Anybody that thinks Sony's never giving up Spider-Man. No one in their right mind would ever let the rights for a character like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Why would you ever let?
Well, Marvel did.
Well,
Marvel
they were bankrupt.
They had to, right?
Yeah.
That's what forces you to do it. So that's what we have to do. We have to get Sony down to bankruptcy, and then we can get Spider-Man back over to Disney, and then they can use him anytime they want. That's the plan.
Yeah, as much as they would ask for and demand, because isn't there this thing like when you're dealing with like companies that are structured like this, if you come with the right amount of money, they're not allowed to say no as like an entity looking out for the best.
The problem is
interest
that
of
Sony is not just a movie studio; it's a huge electronics.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, but
But
they
it's
could
kind of like how
film division of it.
Yeah, you could just sell off the film, Sony Pictures, right?
yeah, but can you
Like Fox did.
can't somebody or a group of people with enough money like strong arm it kind of thing, like where the investors, I mean, seriously, isn't that like a thing where if you come with enough money, the investors aren't allowed to say no because it's not in the best interest of the investors?
Well, hostile takeover, you could just buy all the shares.
Yeah.
Try that one.
Yeah, something. But yeah, DJ, what do you got coming up this week?
I ain't got shit, dog.
Nice, Paul. What about you?
That's awesome.
Tomorrow morning we have DC Comics Deep Dive on World's Finest Annual 2025 and the absolute part of the DC All-In Free Comic Book Day.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, free comic book day. I have an entire vlog coming out tomorrow. I did vlogs for a good while, and it actually inspired so many other content creators to do vlogs as well that I stopped doing it because I'm like, I don't like this. And one of the people that does them, I actually put him in my thumbnail for mine because he came to Augusta. I'm like, dude, Brian's going to be here. I wish I could get like all of them, Brian, Durs, and just get like all the people that started doing vlogs in there with me. But we had a blast hanging out, and I filmed the whole day. We hit a bunch of shops. We did even took Finn to his first sword class. It was a blast.
Nice.
We had a good time. We went and ate. I look forward to the next time they all come into town and hang out and everything. But check out that vlog. It was a really fun day. Really, really fun day. Pops was there. Alan, the Comic Viking, was there. Roscoe was there. A lot of fun. You know who wasn't there? Y'all. Why didn't y'all come to Augusta for free comic book day? It says more about y'all than me. But the prize pack that I showed at the beginning of the stream, about to give away right meow. I got the wheel of names right here. You know, there was one week that I forgot to do this at the end of the stream. And Paul's like, you forgot something. I'm like, yeah, you damn sure right I did. But here it is. Here we go. There's 41 names in the Legion tier. We're at like 78 members strong right now, but 41 in the Legion tier. Make sure by next month, if you want your name on the wheel, you change to the Legion tier or hit that join button and get in where you fit in. So good luck to everybody. Thank you again to all the channel members. Let's do this.
Let's go, DJ Links. Hey!
Powdered Tumbler.
Hey,
Nice.
Friday. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, big shout out to Jose. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. Congrats to Spidey. And
hold on, wait a minute, my bad. I was just joking when I said I ain't got.
So everybody, I appreciate you all hopping on, and hope everyone has a good night as always.
No, hold on, please, no, stop. Friday,
Legion.
No, please, come on.
It is a legit announcement.
Yeah, I totally.
Friday's the mega show, Cash Wheel, prize stream.
So Friday on In the Mix, we have some.
So make sure y'all are there.
Yeah, mystery box giveaway, cash wheel, money, everything like come through. It's like almost $1,000 in prizes.
It's just a straight up giveaway stream.
Straight up giveaway. We'll talk shit, but it's giveaways, yeah.
But I'm about to go watch the season finale to Righteous Gemstones, the series finale. I don't know who else watches that show.
Yeah.
God, it's hilarious.
Oh man.
But Righteous Gemstones, and then the next episode of The Last of Us, and we'll be back right here next week. We'll be talking The Last of Us, reviewing some comics, talking about whatever's happening in the fandom. But until then, as always, I appreciate you guys. Remember, we are Legion.
Is that it? Is that all you got?